Okay.
I'm not starting.
Fine, I'll start. All right. I feel like I always start. I guess
boss.
you get the joke at the end of the day.
Well, yeah.
Oh God, I better tell her that now. She'll have to look it up.
Oh no, I have a book now that Renee got me.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, it's been a hot minute because last time we were doing this, we had Christmas background. We were in our Christmas attire. And now here we are like a whole month later.
Yeah, it has been
It's been about a month. Yeah. So since then we got a joke book. Not we.
No, I got a joke book.
Got a joke book, so she can pull a joke from there for our podcast
That's great.
today.
Thank you, Renee.
Okay, we have a new face on the podcast.
Hello.
Oh, I forgot she has the buttons next to her.
That was a great button, though.
That was. Usually I hit the wrong button.
I'm getting good at this.
Welcome, Jessica. Jessica, introduce yourself.
I'm Jessica Niekamp. I am gifted and curriculum coordinator here at the ESC and working with these lovely ladies. Crickets.
You are going to be grounded
Sorry,
from
I'm
the
done.
button.
I push it again. I won't push it again, but that was
me
too
on my
good.
Oh my
podcast
gosh. Okay.
Okay.
So we invited Jessica because, well, first off, Jessica built the Building Thinking Classrooms book study that we're going to be running.
Very good. I would hit a button in celebration, but I was told I can't hit any more
That's right.
buttons.
She's now grounded from that.
Hold the applause.
Yes.
Which is a great book study. And that book study can count for gifted hours. So I think we still have the registration open.
Till the end of the week.
By the
So
time we get this
probably not.
published,
By the time we get this out,
probably
no.
not. Nope. But we will run it again this summer.
Absolutely.
So today, what we're going to do is we did an introduction the last time over the book, Building Thinking Classrooms, and we are going to talk about chapter 1 and 2 because that kind of aligns with the book study. And we thought the best way to do it was to take it from like a teacher and student perspective. So Jessica's going to be our teacher today, and Emily and I get to work together to solve some problems. And we will show you the problem from a traditional classroom, what it might look like, and what it would look like in a building thinking classroom. Right? Is that what we want to do?
That sounds great. I love it.
Great. We really are just winging it. We literally walked over to Jessica's office and we're like, hey, will you come over and do this podcast with us? And she was like, I guess. So we are winging it.
Let's do it.
All right, let's get into it. All right. We had a little bit of a fail.
Yeah,
we need to tell them that because, am I even in it? Is my whole
you're in it. Yeah, you're in it.
So Jessica was a teacher. We did a problem and
I'm so bad at math that I ruined it.
It did not work out. So we have now switched roles.
So I'm the teacher, the woman who was so bad at math that she ruined it. I'm just going to read from the book.
Ruin it. You didn't ruin it. I think it was just not a good problem. Yeah. Okay. So now we have a new problem that we're doing.
Okay. All right. Are you guys ready?
Yes.
Okay. So we're going to situate ourselves in probably algebra 2, algebra 1, pre-calc, that atmosphere.
Great.
Yeah. Okay.
My favorite class.
Okay. So there's an eccentric woman who has booked 3 adjacent and adjoining hotel rooms. So we have them up here, rooms 1, 2, and 3. Okay. When she checks in, she tells the receptionist that if he needs her, she will always be in the room next door to the room she was in the night before. The receptionist thinks nothing of it until an hour later when he realizes her credit card has been declined and he has to go find her. Okay, suspend disbelief. The problem is he's really, really busy and he only has time to knock on 1 door per day. Okay, so how many days does he need to guarantee that he finds her? So we'll start with that one.
To guarantee that he finds her.
She's always going to stay in the room beside the room she stayed in the night before.
Okay, so
and he can only knock on
night 1.
Do we know she stays in room 1 on night 1?
Yeah,
you don't know.
We don't know where she starts.
So how many days, and there's multiple questions here, guys, but we're going to start with.
Oh boy, okay.
How many days does he need to guarantee that he finds her?
Okay.
So
there's only these 3 adjacent rooms?
There are 3 adjacent rooms.
3 rooms.
Yes.
Okay. So let's just say that she goes to room 1 the first night.
Okay. Let's start there.
Okay. So night 1. This would be night 2.
So night 1, she's in room 1. Night 2, she's in room 2.
Night 3. Now she has to go here because they have to be adjacent, right?
Yeah.
Right. What?
Nothing. I'm the teacher.
Why are you laughing
know.
at me, teacher?
I just want to
Teacher's
remind you of
making
the
a face.
task. How many days does he need to guarantee that he finds her?
I know.
How many days does he can knock on one door
One
per
door.
day?
Okay, so if he knocks on night 1, he knocks on door 2, and she's not there. So then night 2, he has 2 choices.
He's
1 or
yes.
3. So if he
so
knocks
that would be his
on,
best bet to check here first, because then
okay, so let's
What
say
do you
he
have better
knocks on
odds?
door 2 on night 1. Night 2, he knocks on door 3.
3.
Okay. Night 3, he has to knock back on door 2
Right.
because it's, and then door 1. I don't.
Okay, so
What
let's
guarantees?
talk about
How
that
do we
again.
figure out
Do
what
that
guarantees?
again. So if he goes here first, she's
Okay.
not here, like you said.
He's-
Then he has to go to 1 or 3. So there's 1 night. So then, if he goes to room 3, he knocks. She's not there. Well, then the 3rd night,
He can't. I mean,
he has to go to 2.
he could go to 1.
He could, but if he was,
He doesn't have to move. He doesn't have to knock on adjacent rooms.
No. But what I'm saying is if he knocked here and she's not here on night
If she's not,
1,
then she's either in 1 or 3.
Okay, now, would you guys like me to? So the way that I presented it there is straight from his book, page 21, Thinking Classroom, right? This
Yeah.
would be the way you start a unit. Very little scaffolding. I just gave you the problem and to run with it. Do you want me to give it in a more traditional way that will give you some scaffolds to see if you can try to figure it out?
yes.
Okay. Here's my suggestion. Create a table showing the possible room she could occupy on each night. So that would be my first suggestion, is start with a table.
Okay.
Where you can
Okay.
see the rooms that she
start,
could
like,
occupy each night.
Day 1 or night 1, night 2, night 3.
Night 1, 2, 3.
Okay, and then you have 3 rooms. Yep.
Okay.
I'm so glad you turned those into columns. I was so stressed out when I
Were
thought the
you?
numbers were just going to hang out in the.
You didn't like that?
Okay,
Okay.
so pick a room that she might be in on night 1.
Well, let's just go with night 1.
Night 1, room 1. Okay. So that
then
means night 2.
Then night 3, right?
But where could she also stay on
She could
night
have
2?
also stayed. If she was here, she could go back to
Mhm.
room 1 on night 3.
Yep.
Right? Okay.
And then she has to go back to she has to go back to room 2.
2.
She always has to go back to room 2 every other night.
Every other night. All right. So
So how many days would it take to guarantee?
So if she starts in room 2,
okay, so let's try that. I'll do circles.
then she would
And she could go to 2 or 3.
And then she's
And then she has
Back.
to go to 2.
So if he
3
knocked
nights.
on,
Right?
if he knocked on room 2 every single night, he would eventually get her in.
and how many nights you think it would take to
3.
guarantee? You
3.
think it-
3. Right?
Not a guarantee. If
Okay.
if he knocked on that door if he never
So if-
knocked on another door, if he always knocked on room 2, then yes, 3 days he would have gotten her one
he
of
would
those
have
nights.
got her one of those days.
right?
Could he?
Right,
you think it's
teacher?
2?
Am I right?
I don't know the right answer. I knew what the pattern was. I don't know the right answer. So my wouldn't
Ah.
it be 2?
It would be 2. You're right. Because
Right.
if she's
yeah, because
yeah.
Right? Because that pattern is
Mhm.
going to go into out of 2, into out of 2. If we continued that table,
He would either get her
Yes.
on day
the
1 or day
first knock
2.
or the
Right.
second knock. So it has to be 2
Yeah.
days.
Yep, you're right.
Yes.
So here's what I find fascinating about this, because if I, like, from our lens as curriculum people, because I feel like a lot of times we have conversations about teachers should try this. And like, we're not teachers.
No.
So from a curriculum lens, if I went into a classroom and they were doing this with a table, I would think it was a thinking task. Like, this seems like a thinking class. It was, or a thinking task when it comes to the table.
Right.
That table scaffolding is kind of what takes it away from being a pure thinking task, because we actually made it mathematical, like purely mathematical. Again, we made a table, we have a pattern, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think we probably would have sat here a lot longer if.
Yeah. And you even gave us a guiding, you know, that you didn't even have to. You told us, because we were like, where's the woman staying? And you're like, no, where's he knocking?
Yes.
You know, you even led us there, which
Right.
we weren't.
So let
thinking
me
of.
ask this. If this was a building thinking classroom, right? Your students were doing this. How long are these tasks typically? Like, how long do you let them go?
Right. I think it's your judgment.
Right. Okay.
Because he has the stuff I want to get to at the end before we end this podcast, because there's a quote on 29 that I think, wait, no, that's not the quote. Where's the quote, guys? Oh, on 25. Because a lot of times we think, when we see word problems, we think like there must be some thinking involved, right? And he writes on page 25, once a word problem is decoded, the mathematics is often trivial, procedural, and analogous to the mathematics that was taught that day. This is not true of rich problem-solving tasks. Because once we turn that into a table,
then it became
just like every other table we've ever made. Like, it's not an eccentric woman staying at a hotel with 3 different options. It is, this is a table with a pattern that we can plug in algorithmically.
You can do
Sorry,
it.
I got really excited. Just like everything else, right? Today. But our thought is to get them thinking, right? So he has something like I talked about in the last podcast, and Jessica, you probably saw this when you were making the book study, those question and answers at the end of the chapters that I think are so helpful, because he addresses some of those things as a teacher where you're going to be like, I don't know that that's going to work that way. Like, it's really nice to write it in a book, but I don't know that it's going to work all like that way. Like, will the students whose idea is being borrowed be okay with that? Like, he addresses things like, if we're working in a group and the group beside us hears us talking and they borrow Jessica's idea, that's actually okay. Like, that's good, right? Like, the thought is we're getting them talking. We're getting them.
Well, and that's what I was just going to talk about, because chapter 2 talks about the grouping that goes along with it. So I was just thinking about this task and how you group students is kind of important, because I feel like you're going to have some students, when they're in a group, they completely shut down. And so they feel like they're scared to share their ideas. So I think the grouping part of it is important.
Well, and on that flip side, I suck at math. So not just like I might be quiet, but the other kids might not take my ideas seriously because they know I'm not that good.
Yeah.
Where I think building thinking classrooms, if you do this well at the beginning of the year, we shouldn't necessarily know who's really good and who's not really good.
Well, I was going to say, I feel like a lot of these tasks give some of those students, like, this doesn't look like a traditional math problem. So I might have some ideas because it doesn't intimidate me as much as some of those traditional, if I feel like I'm not good at math. You know, I feel like this gives some of those kids an opportunity to speak up because it is so non-traditional.
Right. Because we're just trying, like, we're just trying different things until we get it to stick.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that is, we provide scaffolds, because some of the, and this is, I promise this is not a total squirrel moment, but I'm obviously going through all of the data that I've collected last semester for secondary ELA teachers and the science of reading and structured literacy and all of that stuff, right? And I think what happens is we as teachers provide scaffolds out of the goodness of our hearts. Like, we want to build that ladder and build that bridge. And sometimes scaffolds are appropriate. Scaffolds aren't, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not a bad word. Just like last episode when we talked about no pedagogical strategy is inherently good or bad. It's how you use it, right?
Right.
And I think in math sometimes, because secondary ELA teachers notoriously scaffold kids up instead of teaching them the skills they need to solve the problem. I think we're kind of watching that emerge a little bit in math as well, where we're scaffolding them up, memorize this, put this, tape this to your calculator, that kind of thing, instead of having them understand the math, right? And to be able to talk about the math. But that's scary as a teacher, because they might bring up things that I'm not ready to talk about. You know
well,
what I mean?
and I just think as a teacher, you know, even when we were coming up with different examples of problems. So one of them was you give them 3 different shapes and you ask them which one has
Like the most
like
area,
the most
the biggest
area.
area.
And I was like, "Well, this is great, but I need the measurements at the sides." And they were like, "But you don't give that to the students. You let them just sit and think, and they are trying to convince each other which one has the most mass or whatever." And I'm like, "So as a teacher, I thought we were missing part of the problem." So I think ChatGPT or other resources as a teacher, you're probably gonna have to pull from because I think it's a mind shift. And
Oh, for
had
sure.
I not asked ChatGPT, I would have given them that, not even thinking, all of a sudden I'm turning that into a traditional problem for them, you know?
And when we're thinking about HQIM, like I just sat through a vendor presentation last week, and some curricula are building this in. Like
Sure.
they're seeing the writing on the wall because, like we said, this aligns with the math plan. They're kind of seeing where we're shifting in mathematics. So that might become a non-negotiable for some of you as you're adopting curriculum for math and looking at new curriculum. We might say, you know what, we want thinking. And so that's why I think this book, I would highly suggest, because we're probably all going to be adopting new math curriculum here soon. And like we said before, teacher knowledge is the power, because they're going to try to sell you anything, right?
Right.
Look how
They're
shiny
gonna-
this is. Look how
yeah.
beautiful this is. Our number talks are better than anybody's number talks. But at the end of the day, your knowledge as a teacher is what allows you to look at something and go, nah, you're just trying to sell me something shiny. Those aren't thinking tasks.
So can I ask a question? And this might be really dumb, but I have not read the whole entire book. When you are doing these problems as a teacher, do you have the answers? Are there always answers to them? Because I feel like some questions, there's not always an answer.
I think there were some in there that there were answers. Some there are multiple correct answers.
Mhm.
So that's, I think, always
Because
hard
I think
to-
that's important for students to know. Like your answer might not be right. There might be multiple answers for them to know, like, there's not always a right answer to everything, or how you got to that
How
answer.
you
There's
got
not
to it,
always
yes.
a right answer for how you got to that answer.
Does he explicitly name Fermi problems in there at all? I don't remember seeing it. Because
Not
Fermi
that I
problems really
remember.
don't normally have an answer. Like, how
Mhm.
much pizza does it take to feed the town of Salina?
Yeah.
Like you were
I
saying,
don't know if he specifically mentioned those or not.
because if you're looking, if you don't want to read the book, a good thing to Google would be Fermi problems.
Yeah.
Or asking ChatGPT to make a Fermi problem for you. Because those are ones that you really grapple with, because there probably is an answer to how much pizza would be needed to
Right.
feed all the whole town of Salina, but the conversations are awesome.
But the multiple steps that you would have to
Well, and this
get
is all
to an
application,
answer,
right?
Because
Like,
that's the thing.
yeah.
When we give them the strategies and all of that, if we give them every single thing they need, they
They're
don't
not
know how to
thinking.
apply it.
Yep.
In, like if you
It
give
takes
me
away
a
the
table, I
thinking,
can
yeah.
fill out a table.
Yeah.
But to get to that point requires some thinking and some application of what I've already learned.
And it can accidentally become cross-curricular, because then it becomes,
right.
oh, I got to look at the census to see what the average age of people in Salina are, because if they're, you know what I mean? If
Yeah.
they're older, an infant doesn't, you know what I mean? So then kids start to grapple with things that may take them.
Well, and I know when I was asking for like an example, it gave an example of like, I don't know, 24 times 15. And I'm like, okay, 24 times 15. Like, why is that a building thinking classroom problem? But it's more about you aren't telling them how to get to the answer. They may not have ever done 2-digit multiplication. So
Mhm.
drawing it out or whatever. Like,
Mhm.
and the part that it was talking about is you have to be ready to convince the other groups of your answer. And I think that convincing part is where
So they're
the
either
thinking
right
classroom,
or we're training them to become like lawyers, right?
right? Like they are
Like either they
yeah.
become mathematicians or lawyers. It sounds like a
Confidently
win-win,
incorrect,
right?
right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I love this.
Yeah. But sometimes I think the vocab piece of it is important
agree.
too.
To give them the
To
language
give them
to
the
talk
language
about
to
it.
talk about it. Yeah.
And I just saw something on your paper here that says one of the examples says low floor. And I think that that's awesome, because some of these you can build up to a really high level of math, but everybody has access to
Yes.
the problems. That's what I
Yeah.
really liked about a lot of these problems, is that, yeah, you can hit your gifted kids, you can really reach high, but it has a low floor. So everybody has the chance to get the same experience.
Yes. And this one was like, what if there were 17 rooms? What
right.
if
You
there,
could
Yeah.
build on.
she was there for 30 nights?
Absolutely.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was much better than our last one. All right. Well, you can see that Emily has her joke book out. So we are really to the end here. But before we get to the joke, we basically talked about chapter 1. We did not really talk about chapter 2. I think that
it took you guys
really
too long to solve the problem. Sorry.
I know, you're exactly right. So I think teachers definitely want to read chapter 2. And
yeah, he mentions that the first 3 chapters are kind of like your base of building a thinking classroom. It's grouping, how you set up your classroom, because that does look a little bit different. So I think those 3 chapters are kind of a good start if you're even considering, looking at these thinking tasks in your classroom.
Yeah, because even chapter 4, like how do you arrange a furniture in a thinking classroom?
Yeah.
Like that.
Like, he spends a good deal of time on creating the environment in your classroom. And it is really important.
And truthfully, this sounds silly, but if your high school offers quantitative reasoning or math modeling and reasoning or something of that variety, go find that teacher and talk to them, because the whole foundation of that curriculum, they've been doing these thinking tasks for years. A few of them have been doing them for years now. We have some really stellar people. And if you don't have one, find a district that has one and talk to them about it, because
who are the districts that we know for sure?
I think almost all of our districts.
I was going to say, I think right now, I think they are all offering it.
I really do think it's all of them. So find a high school teacher that's been doing something like this, and they could help you walk through. And like I said, talking to the people who do it, I always think is the best, because we can talk about it, but we don't have a classroom. So we don't know some of the
And this
hacks.
book does a really good job of giving high school algebraic tasks, but also elementary tasks and, thinking tasks that you can use with younger kids.
Well, and that is what I liked, because it talked about, here's an elementary problem, here's a middle school problem, here's a high school problem.
This book truly is for everyone across the board who teaches math.
Yeah. Okay, I guess we're ready for your joke.
Okay. So,
and we're going to let Jessica answer since she's the guest.
Okay. So Renee, shout out to Renee. She got me the ultimate joke book for teachers.
Thank you, Renee.
For Christmas. I was going to do a math one, but then I found this one and it's just too good. Jessica.
Okay.
What do you call an educator who refuses to fart in public? You should, as a former ELA teacher, this should resonate with you.
Refuses to fart in public.
Yes. It's a private tutor.